If you want to grow as a leader, there are some things that you have to learn. There's skills that you definitely need to develop. There's disciplines that you have to build over time. But there's also some things that I truly believe that you must shed away, that you must lose. Because leadership maturity, it is often revealed by what you're willing to let go of. In the last episode of this two-part series, we started a conversation about these things that leaders gotta let go of. We talked about losing the need to be liked, the need to have all the answers, the need to control everything, and the need to be the hero. Today, we're going to continue that conversation because there are things that great leaders eventually, you gotta release.
This is the Champion Forum podcast with Jeff Hancher, the forum for leaders, champions, and dreamers.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everyone. Jeff Hancher here. Today, we are continuing our series titled Things That Leaders Must Lose. In part one, we discussed several habits and mindsets that limit leadership growth. Today, we're going to continue that conversation because there's a lot of things that we need to shed. Quite frankly, we could probably make this a 6-part episode series. But I've fine-tuned this into the ones that I see that really hold leaders back. I mean, keep in mind, I sat through years of succession planning in a very large organization, reviewing many, many leaders. And oftentimes, the reasons why leaders didn't advance and grow, it wasn't because of the things they were maybe doing. It's because they weren't maturing in their leadership, which disqualified them to go to the next level. So certainly there are things that we have to grow into and obtain, but also there are certain things that we got to let go of. I mean, when you're 5 years old, it's kind of cool to drink Kool-Aid to a crazy straw, right? But I don't know if you want to bring a crazy straw to, the company lunchroom. That's immature, right? I mean, crazy straws are kind of cool, but nonetheless, I don't know if that's the brand that we want in the lunchroom. Sometimes we got to grow past some things. So I'm going to give you a few more today that I think will equip you well to mature into the leader that you're called to be. Number 5 on the list of things that you got to lose. You got to lose the fear of a difficult conversation. Of course, if you are a listener of this show, you already knew. This is one of my favorites. I mean, I'm holding up the book. If you're on YouTube, I literally wrote a whole book about this, right? Why? Because I will tell you, it is something that holds leaders back, doesn't even get them out of the gate. John Maxwell writes the book about the 5 levels of leadership. Must-read book, by the way. But I'll tell you this, if you don't lose this one, you're going to maybe get to level 2 on your way to level 3, but you're not even going to ever capitalize on level 3, which is the results level. You're going to get the title because you were very good. You were very good over here. So they promote you into the title. You do a pretty good job building some rapport with the team. Then you go start to track down this level 3, this results level, and you just peter out. You run out of gas. Everybody's frustrated. You're upset. The team's upset. Nobody's having a good time. And I will tell you, one of the things that hold people back from winning at level 3 is that they're not willing to have the difficult conversation. Many leadership problems exist today because leaders avoid difficult conversations. They delay feedback. They soften clarity. They hope that issues are going to fix themselves magically somehow. But avoidance always makes the problem worse. You already knew this. Man, there's a great story. If you listen to the show, I've talked about Abraham Lincoln quite a bit on this show over the years. He's my favorite president. I'm open to debate it. Man, there's so many things to learn from Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War. If you read about his leadership, one of the things that historians tell us is that he had these infamous letters that historians now call the hot letters. When somebody got under Lincoln's skin, frustrated him, he would start crafting a brutally honest letter expressing exactly how he felt, pulling no punches. Like whatever was in his mind, it came out on a paper, a quill pen and a dabber, if you will. But here's the crazy thing. Those letters were never sent to the recipient. This was a strategy that Lincoln had. He used this writing process to clarify his thinking before addressing issues. What did this allow him to do? Well, it allowed him to be more thoughtful. It allowed him to get in a better place of composure and calm. But he never evaded the difficult conversation. He processed it. Why? Because sometimes the difficult conversation, it comes out of a place of emotion, doesn't it? Somebody did something dumb. You told them to do this. They did the exact opposite. All of this stuff. And a difficult conversation is necessary, but you got to gain a little bit of composure, and then you go lean into this hard conversation. Man, this is whenever we approach the person, not only with a difficult conversation, but we're approaching it with wisdom, and we're approaching it with clarity. Let me ask you this. Is there someone on your team right now who needs clear feedback that you've been delaying giving it to? You owe them this, leader. You owe them this. And look, if you're not sure how to do it and navigate it, and they're a peak performer, they're high tenure, all of these things, go get the blueprint in Firm Feedback in a Fragile World. You got to lose this piece of not leaning into the hard conversations. It's going to hold you back from your leadership potential. Number 6 on the things that you got to lose. You got to lose the need for recognition. Man, I know this is going to hurt the perfectionist. I know it. You know, us perfectionists, we love a good attaboy. We love a good old trophy case, and we love to fill that trophy case. We want people to know how hard we're working, and we want recognized for some of that level of performance. Well, that might have used to work. But as you grow in your leadership, I will tell you it's one of the biggest turnoffs that there is. Some leaders, they measure success by how often they receive credit. This is a big watch out, leaders. Mature leaders, man, they look at this completely different. You know, often your best leadership moments will appear and happen very quietly behind the scenes that nobody even knows. Those sometimes are going to be what your leadership legacy is actually built on. I mean, look, your team grows, someone else receives the praise, and that's okay. That's okay. Because the goal of leadership, it's not personal spotlight. If spotlight is your thing, and I don't hate you for it, leadership's not a good fit for you. It's just not. A great leader, man, they're looking for organizational progress. They're looking for that rising tide that can lift all ships. They're not looking for personal wins. They're looking for organizational wins. They're looking for wins for the people that they're serving as a leader. So ask yourself this question. Am I focused more on personal credit or team success? And you got to be honest with yourself here, because this is a hard thing to admit, but I can tell you sometimes how this starts to show up and manifest is whenever the leader's boss starts coming down on something went wrong, something didn't go just right, and you, the leader, you start throwing your entire team under the bus, pointing fault, throwing them right under the train, saying it wasn't me, it was no. Great leaders take full ownership of every fault and responsibility, and they give credit to every victory and win to the team, right? Man, think about this. This is a big one, leader. This week, I want to challenge you. I want you to publicly recognize someone on your team for an amazing contribution without mentioning your role in this, even if you did 90% of the work. Celebrate them fully. They're going to know. That person will know. That person will know what you're doing. But it doesn't have to be me and them. We worked on this together. You know, I did most of the work. If it wasn't for me, no, give them the spotlight. This is a great way to build respect and a great way to build a leadership brand. The number 7 thing that you got to lose You got to lose the habit of defending yourself. Man, oh man, this could be a whole episode. Oh man, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. Can I just say own it? Can I just summarize this whole point and say own it, own your stuff, own your crap? You know, when leaders receive feedback, sometimes they will go straight into defense, go right into defending themselves. They explain, they justify, they rationalize. But defensive leaders, you know what? You know what ends up happening? They stop learning. They completely stop learning because they've gotten so good at defending their position that they forgot that what they should be focused on being good at is becoming a higher impact leader. It's like, I've gotten so good at defending myself, I literally don't have to be good at anything because I'm so good at this. That can't be our story. Confident leaders, they listen. They listen first. They stay curious. They want to know what their blind spots are, so much so that they're asking questions. And they evaluate the feedback before ever reacting. They're evaluating it, they're processing it, they're filtering it, but they love it, they welcome it. They see feedback as the currency of leadership growth, and we want it. Let me ask you this. When someone comes and gives you feedback, is your first instinct to explain your position or to just listen? Do people feel safe giving you feedback? Are you getting it? Because if you're not, it's not safe. So here's what I want you to do. The next time somebody's brave enough to come give you feedback, good, bad, indifferent, true, not true, doesn't matter. Just start by saying this. Thank you for sharing that with me. Tell me more. Thank you for sharing that with me. Do you mind sharing a little bit more? Man, when you do this response opens the door to learning, and it gives you a moment to regulate. You're passing this because they might come in and say, hey, listen, I just want to let you know I think you're an absolute jerk. That's feedback, isn't it? Not real nice, not maybe what you wanted to hear, but what you want to do immediately is say, well, let me tell you why I'm a jerk, because you never get your reports in on time. Defend, defend, defend. Deflect, deflect, deflect. No, this will give you time to emotionally regulate, and it'll give you an opportunity to learn. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. The eighth thing that you got to lose the comfort of the status quo. Oh man, the status quo is nice. It's nice. Nobody wants to be stretched. Nobody wants to go to a place we've never been before. That's not fun. You know, there's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of risk. Well, here's what I came to tell you today. Leadership requires constant growth, continuous improvement, continuous growth. But comfort, man, I'm going to tell you, it doesn't happen fast, but over time, comfort will erode your progress. It will erode your leadership impact. Some leaders, they eventually start just settling in to routines. They just settle into the routine. Why? Because it's safe. And by the way, let's honor the past, because look how much it's done for us. When this starts to happen, what starts to follow is you start challenging assumptions. You stop experimenting. You stop stretching yourself. We start to settle for good because great is too risky. Great's risky. Well, I'll tell you this. You're not going to stay good for long if you're not willing to push the envelope and expand the boundary and take a little bit of healthy risk. I've talked about the story of Kodak on this show many times over the years, but oh my gosh, I don't know if there's a better example. Kodak invents the digital camera in 1975. Is this crazy town? This is crazy. The year I was born, 1975. I know you all thought that I was 35. I'm not. 1975. They had the digital camera ready to go to market. But senior leadership at Kodak, in all their wisdom, they said, you know what? If we launch this out to the marketplace, it's going to destroy our film business. And look at our revenue, and look at our profit, and look at our stakeholders. How are people going to respond? This could be the downfall. Are we sure we want to do this? So what did they do? They protected the status quo. I mean, look how far film has got us. I mean, y'all remember the photo huts and all this stuff you used to take film to and all that? Like, that's the only thing that there was. And they dominated that market. And while Kodak was hesitating and sitting in the status quo, other companies, they began to push forward. And eventually, digital photography replaced the film industry completely, and Kodak ultimately files for bankruptcy in 2012. And by the way, I'm surprised it took that long. They got dominated quickly. Nobody ever thought back in that era that Kodak was ever going to go away. Comfort, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to your company. It's dangerous to your leadership impact. If you cling too hard to what once worked well for you, you're going to miss what's coming next. I promise you. We got to push the envelope in a healthy way. I'm not looking for renegades here. So ask yourself, when was the last time that I intentionally pushed myself to learn something new as a leader? Tenured leaders, listen to me. I know you can recite the book. You can say all the polished leadership jargon. You know all the fancy words. Circle back, sharpen the axe, laser focus. Should I go on? We know all the jargon. I'm talking about, when have you really dug deep and developed a new leadership skill that can not only impact how your organization runs, but equip people to become their best? Are you leading from curiosity, or are you leading from comfort, leader? I want you to think about one thing, one skill that you want to improve this quarter, and create a plan and chase it down. Commit to learning and practicing in that area and go deep in that one thing, whatever that is. As we close out this 2-part series, there's a story that I absolutely love about Michelangelo. And it's a story when he was sculpting the statue of David. Someone asked Michelangelo, how is it that you could create something so extraordinary from a block of marble stone? And Michelangelo responded and said something so simple and so profound. He said, I saw an angel in the middle of that marble, and I carved it until I set that angel free. Wow. Leadership growth, it kind of works the same way. Sometimes growth, it's not about adding something new. Sometimes it's about removing something that shouldn't be there to begin with. Letting go of habits that might limit you, releasing old mindsets that may be holding you back, carving away the things that prevent you from becoming the leader that you are absolutely capable of being, and the impact that you can make on countless lives. Because great leadership, man, it is often revealed not by what you gain, but by what you're willing to lose. Thanks for joining this 2-part series, Things That Leaders Must Lose. I hope it challenged you. If it did, I'd ask you to send it to one leader in your life that's looking to make big impact. Until next week, take some time. Get the show notes. Go through some application. Reflect on what is your biggest opportunities to lose something from your leadership approach. And most importantly, never stop turning that pressure into potential.
The Champion Forum Podcast with Jeff Hancher. Lead, inspire, win.